That was another me trying to impersonate Dan's energy. I think it's a Monday evening. We're all quite sleepy. But we are here for the very last Algernon's Angels. We are here to talk about our last downtime. We're here to talk about episode 19, especially the B team episode that we filmed last week. Well,
So
it's
much
last
fun.
week of this recording anyway. So we're here to talk about how we're going to go into the very last episode, the finale of Elysia Rising. So let's start off with our last downtime, because we usually do these before a downtime. So the last Algernon's Angels we did was before our very last downtime, and obviously quite a lot happened. So
A few things.
I guess we want to... Who started off? Who started off the downtime? It was probably... I think it was Atta. Did Atta start the downtime?
No, well,
I don't think so.
in the sense of our kind of scenes where we were wrapping up bits of our characters' stories, do you mean? My first note is you, Nate, as Kavrin
Okay.
finding Dorothea
Yeah.
destitute.
I think because we did have a chat with Dan about what we wanted to tie up, like any
Yeah.
loose ends, and I definitely said that I wanted to tie up the loose end with Dorothea, and I was not sure how he was going to play that out, so that was good. Yeah, it was interesting because I didn't want Kavrin to sort of fully forgive her for what she's probably done to him in his life, but felt like it was a nice little step towards it, maybe. So yeah.
Yeah, it was quite nice with the whole power differential kind of flipped, and you reaching out to help her up, despite the fact that, of course, you know.
Oh yeah,
There's
I was
still all
fully
that
prepared to tell her to go do one,
history.
but
It just shows what a good person Kavrin is at heart,
It
that he
does.
can push all that history aside and still show compassion, even though he
They've
doesn't
been-
like her.
The two dragons sent Dorothea, and well, I guess we've got sexy dragons sent now.
yeah.
As well, but they've been such an interesting contrast, and it kind of makes me think of like gifted children. It's like, oh, whoops, sorry, I did a
there we
thing.
go.
I did a thing that my computer does when I do this. But like Dorothea, like hard went obedience, and Kavrin hard went disobedience, like when you're both like special in that sense. I think they've been such interesting characters to kind of have that kind of dynamic of having your world kind of crash around you as well.
Yeah, I like to think that Kavrin doesn't actually know very many dragon scents either, like besides from himself and probably Dorothea and now Vaughn, there's probably very little few, especially in Elysia, that he knows. So that's just quite a nice dynamic to play with. I would also like to mention that I don't believe I would ever get on a recording "I get to have sex again" shouted really loudly like I did on that episode. Yeah. So who was next after that?
I believe it was
you.
Magpie.
Yeah.
Spoke to my sort of mentor / surrogate dadu, Samuel. Just had a bit of a heart-to-heart, really, about the fact that being kicked out of her noble family home had kind of forced her down a more authentic path than the one she was on before.
Which I think was really nice, because I don't think we've had a chance to have very many heart-to-heart sort of parts with Magpie. Like, we've not really had a chance for Magpie to really show much of her background, or show like vulnerability, I guess. More.
She's had a couple of chats with Algernon, which were a bit more vulnerable. Yeah, but I guess she's quite a reserved character, isn't she?
Yeah.
So it's been nice to have that chance. Yeah. And then it was Algernon, I believe. Family dinner with the Fairfaxes.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I really wanted to do with Fairfax was just actually show why they're friends. Like, I'm not using him for once. I just wanted to actually go there and ask for some sincere, like, advice from a friend.
Mm.
And the
That was
whole
really
thing
nice.
about having this like secret held over him about his exam results, which is something I've had in my back pocket all along in case I needed to twist his arm, like in case one of my sway rolls didn't quite work. But I think the whole thing with Devera coming back into his life and revealing herself as this sort of secret guardian angel who's been pulling Algie's strings for so long, it's made Algie realise that's what he's been doing to Fairfax and some of the other people in his life, and he doesn't like it. So I think that was just a way to like just finish that relationship on a good note and get some like cute role play in with my old boy.
It was so cute. I loved it.
It was very cute. I feel like Algernon never like switches off, but even in the dinner there, Algernon was still like on. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a very layered and complex character.
But no, you're absolutely lovely to see him having a really authentic connection moment rather than there was no agenda, there was nothing, he wasn't trying to manipulate, he was just actually connecting with a friend. It was while still being very Algernon, of course. So that was good.
Were we all a little bit surprised that Fairfax has a kid?
Oh
No,
Yeah,
he's
I
got
was.
that sad dad energy, hasn't he?
sad dad.
I was, and I really like it was a surprise to Algernon as well. Like, it's something that even though Algernon prides himself in knowing everybody's business, his best friend had managed to keep that from him.
Secret child.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then you had a chat, Catherine had a chat with Frida about how she felt about her little oopsie murder.
Oopsie did a murder.
Oopsie did a murder.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Presumably not the first death she's ever caused, or did she say it was?
She said it was the first one, which people can probably guess that Meg's not here, so.
Oh yeah, we don't have Meg tonight.
She will be in the finale, obviously. But yeah, like I was quite surprised that Frida hadn't killed before.
She'd never let it go that far.
But that's cool. I liked that. And I always do feel like Frida and Catherine have that relationship. Like, they have that friendship relationship.
Definitely. That's well established, isn't it, by now? So it made sense that she would go to Catherine to open up about that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of things that you could talk to Catherine about. I kind of feel like Catherine's the friend where you could do pretty much most things, and
it's hard to shock him.
Right.
Yeah. And he'll be supportive of you no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you summon your nan at her.
Oh yeah.
I mean...
Or try to join the kindling.
Yeah.
There's a few things. Okay, there's a few things he'll disapprove of, but mostly
try to burn down the city.
He's a bit of a ride or die friend, isn't he?
So how did Atta feel about summoning her grandma?
Oh. Weird. It was kind of weird. I feel like I think I said this in the episode. I can't quite remember or not, but I feel like at this point it weirdly doesn't have the same sort of effect as it would have earlier in the campaign. I think it was even a surprise to Atta that she was less invested in. It was more like that's so that is happening and that can happen, and this makes sense logically, as opposed to kind of being very like it didn't drive her to go do mad science crap, which it would have. Had it been many episodes ago.
Yeah.
But I think she's still very unsure as to like what the parameters of, I think we all are maybe, what the parameters for like summoning spirits / memories.
Yeah.
And then what is the catalyst for
Yeah.
But I think I also went to Lorenzo and got healed. I'm looking at my
Oh, well,
notes.
that was so we had our like, what are your 2 downtime activities, all that, and
Useful
then we
things.
did the useful
things.
stuff, the official Blades in the Dark downtime stuff, and then we had our own little let's have heart-to-hearts moments.
I feel like it's worth noting because Lorenzo actually did help at that point. It was
Yeah.
a good
Lorenzo's
Lorenzo
great. What are you
heal-
talking
heal
about?
roll.
Anytime your healing hasn't worked in the past is on you. Lorenzo's great.
He knows exactly what to do. It's
He knows exactly what
not
to do. It's
taking
just
the
if
medicine.
if you don't
correctly.
give him an accurate medical history, he can't help you.
Oh,
And didn't you get a
Lorenzo.
sticker this time round?
I think so. Something- yeah. Yeah, me and Frida had a passing conversation about some kind of sticker. I feel like it was more, probably a smudge or a stain. It's like it's probably some bile
Oh.
from somewhere on Lorenzo.
So we've got some bits and pieces that happened in the last downtime and obviously led to prepping for the score in the first half of episode 19. So Devera's been kidnapped, and not only that, the Blackguard are still around.
Yeah, we thought they might be just gone or something.
Yeah.
we were hoping they'd slunk off somewhere.
And they've been working for Lady
Nefene.
yeah, and her stepmom all along because she's still the ruler of Elysia, I guess, by their rules.
In some people's eyes, she is. Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
rat charmer.
the whole looking after the Ruby Keep wasn't to sort of surround Algarve because he was still under there. It was because
Hearts
obviously
under there.
Because of
Yeah,
the
the
heart
heart's under
of
there.
Elysia. Turia Valenmar, wasn't it?
Mm,
Yeah.
so-
So all of that. And we found out that episode that the Raven had stolen the shroud, which was Odalmerce's contraption that he was hoping to use
Yeah.
the memories, as we now know them to be, from outside to power the veil. To use memories of some type to power the veil.
And they're
So-
using that to power their arc, or however they're going
Whatever it is they're using to escape, exactly. It's all very dastardly and we don't like them. They're
Which
naughty.
depending on when this episode of Algernon's Angels airs, which I'm guessing will be before the finale,
Hopefully, yeah.
which we know is not going to work because the B team thoroughly thrashed them.
Yeah.
Like so well, everything went incredibly to plan with the B team.
Blimey, it was so good.
Should we have a little chat about the B team?
Go on.
Yeah, I've got a question before we chat about the B team.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, who do we think, or who do we know is on quote unquote the arc? Because Algernon got a invitation.
Well, I
yeah,
guess
can
that's
we
also
talk
some-
about
Yeah,
that?
let's talk about that first. So
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I can't remember when it was. It was a few episodes ago before we started recording. Dan pulled JC into a secret chat, and we were just like, "What is this all about?" So yeah, we didn't know anything about it until that part in that end of that downtime. That was
Yeah.
the first time any of us had heard about it. Obviously,
Yeah.
besides from JC.
And I probably wouldn't have revealed it if Dan hadn't sort of forced my hand by having the Raven pop up and say something along the lines of, "You've now got a deadline to respond to this
It's like-
invitation."
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, so now I need to like tell my fellow players what that's about.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a good moment with Devera being kidnapped, which was a very dramatic moment. I really loved that. You know, you had that quiet moment of understanding between the two of you, looking at each other down the corridor, and then all of a sudden, out he pops.
Because in my mind, I still don't really trust her. But then I'd had like Dan via Fairfax basically tell me that to bury the hatchet and trust her. So Algernon sort of got those cogs turning of maybe I should actually start working with this person.
It's such classic timing for a kidnap, isn't it?
Yeah.
just as you're beginning to see eye to eye and work on things, off she goes. Yeah, that was very cool. And yeah, the reveal that actually Nephene had been in touch with Algernon to say, "Would you like a place on the Ark?" Absolutely outrageous. Outrageous behaviour.
Yeah, and then I got traumatized. So now
you wanted to be traumatized.
I wanted to be traumatized.
Don't put it in the passive tense, the sense. It's like a completely active decision to take trauma.
Yeah, but I left it up to Dan as to how that would play out and exactly what it would do. Whether it was going to be like a resistance to some consequence, or I actually ended up pushing myself via the dice to defend myself.
That's right. But then you aced it, so you didn't get murdered on the spot by a blackguard. You ended up getting traumatized by
one of the
doing
things
such
I've
a good
had
job.
One of the things I've had for Algernon all along is that he has some kind of secret training where he can fight using one arm and a stick from his days in the military. And that got used to defend himself. So now he's traumatized and he is unstable, I think was the one I picked.
Yeah.
So,
I like that a lot.
We'll see where all that positive growth and lovey-dovey stuff goes after that.
I love the idea of an
trauma in Blades in the Dark, or you just got it.
You've just got it. It becomes like a source of role play and XP, basically.
Okay.
I think you get
just
3
never
chances.
remove trauma.
You can get up to 3, I think, and then after that you just...
On your 4th, you're out of the game completely.
Right.
So Frida's going to have to work real hard to get to
Blaze
4
is
traumas.
We're all trying to get character growth from our characters, but Blades isn't really a game about character growth. It's a game about characters descending into like trauma and madness and injury, and it's just about how much they can get out of it.
Yeah, I guess given we're only playing a limited series of sessions, then it was unlikely any of us were going to totally crash and burn out of the campaign. But it could have happened if we'd been really reckless. Just quickly before we talk about the Ark, sort of off the back of Blackthorn getting kidnapped, we had a chat with Wizard Orb, didn't we? And we found out what this whole business of Devira being a heart speaker might be about. Do you remember? Was it?
Oh
they called her
was
the
it
heart speaker?
Was it?
Heart speaker, and then the
he called it
the
crystal
phrase
singing.
he called Saphira
Right.
called it was crystal singing. So, but it's the same idea apparently. So you can commune with mana in its physical form, i.e., mana crystals. And so it
Heart speaker. Yeah.
So
I've got
it turns
a
out
drawing of Wizard Orb as well.
there he is.
On my notes.
Good old Wizard Orb.
Crystal singing rat mass. Yeah, we've got all the important hits on my notes.
So we kind of need to figure out what to do with that information that Devira is clearly a crystal singer, and what Nephene might be plotting to do with her, and how we can disrupt that without hurting Devira, ideally. Maybe we need to incapacitate her somehow.
Well, there's silence potions, right?
There's silence potions. That's assuming it requires a verbal or a spoken component. I mean, Lorenzo loves his paralytic poison, we've discovered, from the B-Team one-shot. Maybe we could do that to Devira.
True.
Ask Lorenzo
Lorenzo's
for a bit
freaky.
He is freaky. He's a right freak, yeah. Love it. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. That was a bit of information that we discussed.
Yeah.
Might want to do something with. But yeah, who is going on the Ark?
Yeah, because I'd assumed before the last episode that it was just gonna be me, or just gonna be Algernon, and Nephene and the stepmother. There wasn't any mention of any other nobles.
Yeah, but then when Frida was doing her little interrogation with the
There are more
lodge
members of
reticent
the
guy,
lodge than I realised.
they seem to think they're going, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was a lie to keep them on side, keep them helpful. I wonder if Nephene's told them there is a place for you on the escape boat or whatever it is, whatever magical thing it is they're doing to get out. But then why would Nephene bother? Once she's out, you know? I wonder how much loyalty she actually feels to these people.
Her letter to Algin was along the lines of, we need to carry on the nobility.
Oh, okay. So maybe she is planning to get them all out. Yeah. Okay. What, keep the lines pure and all that?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Ugh.
she's oh my gosh, a Sanguivar though, right? So she's just abandoning all of the, well, I guess if they're not nobles, then
I don't think she feels any. I don't think being a Sanguivar doesn't necessarily endear you to other people with the same condition.
Well, but they're all descendant from the nobility. That was the kind of, or that's the idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Descendant from one house.
Yeah, because
they're of the family lines that, support they're all related directly to people who supported the arcane dragons in the war, aren't they? Some of whom will have been nobility, but not all.
I guess there's a difference between nobility and royal. Which she is royal, right? She's part of the royal line.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so there are clearly some people that she's planning on taking. So yeah, lodge reticent people. Algernon was invited. Don't know who else. Clearly not Odelmus, because he went kaboom. I don't know. I don't know if my mum's going, actually. Be like her, wouldn't it? Utterly oblivious. She probably doesn't even know that, she hasn't even thought about the fact that they'd be abandoning everyone else.
I can't quite remember from the conversation that they both had, but Algernon and Devera, like, this was before the kidnapping scene. They had like a brief tete-a-tete.
Yeah, I was trying to suss out if she'd also been invited.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't quite remember whether or not it sounded like she had, or if she hadn't, or she didn't.
I don't know. Well, we both speak in cryptic riddles, so it's just
anyone's guess.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not she was invited, she's there now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's been forcibly invited. No RSVP required.
Exactly. Right.
B team one shot.
B team one shot.
B team one shot. So much fun.
Yeah, obviously we don't have Tim here either.
No, Tim.
But
I'm
like
so
another
sad.
really big thank you to him for like stepping in very quickly.
Yeah. Tim, absolute legend.
Tim very much.
As capable,
Very capable.
Tom. Very capable.
Very, very capable.
Just to play like a generic sort of a human character who then just walks up to the big bad and shoots her in the face to finish the whole thing. It's hilarious.
Absolutely iconic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And just so nonchalant about it. It's just my
Started
favourite
off with
thing.
magic rock.
It's the
Finished
way
with a gun in the face.
It's the way Dan was like, as you get ready to shoot Lady Null, another assassin of the Elysia appears. And Tim was just like, sure, and then carried on and shot her.
Amazing. That's what makes him capable.
Yeah.
So
and that
capable.
that was the perfect time to get a crit as well.
It was fantastic. Did people enjoy playing their B team characters? I think
Yeah,
everyone
had
did a
lot
really
of
good
fun
job.
playing a character who's just efficient at doing fighting and shooting and doesn't have to
Yeah.
think 5 steps ahead
Mm.
and can
And-
just
and
whip,
just-
whip out a knife and be slippery.
Aggressively
Yeah.
flirting with Alejandro through the gossiper's
Yeah.
earring.
JC, in your like preparation, were you like, yeah, I'm gonna make Roth real horny? Was that like notes? Efficient,
maybe
killer,
sub-
horny.
Subconsciously, yeah.
It
Well,
was
his-
great.
Amazing.
They've got this. All of our cohorts have got like a little pre-generated blurb, and with Roth it says he's chiseled. It's basically the only way it describes him.
A chiseled sprite.
Yeah.
So does that mean we didn't think about the vices, obviously, for B team characters, but it'd be fun to think of what our B team characters.
I
vices would
totally
be.
had-
Mine just said
advice.
gambling. So
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
mine
think
said
Dan
gambling as well.
pre-generated
There's a bit
them.
Pre-gen.
Oh.
But what do we think our characters' vices would genuinely be?
I need to look at the options for Lorenzo, but yeah, I'd love to know what y'all's are.
Is it oblivion through drugs? Does he just like
I'm not sure. I think
sample from his own supply?
maybe it is the same because what Attas is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it would be weird as well, but weird in a different way.
A different weird.
Different kind of weird. Like, yeah, I kind of think he's into sensory deprivation.
Well, what with
Stuff.
his obsession with paralysing? Like, yeah.
He's got some equipment under there.
He's got some kinky tendencies.
thin metal rods in his cupboard.
masochist.
Sorry. JC's like, and then, oh no. It's a good face journey.
Holy moly. Oh gosh.
Anyway.
If anyone
Yeah,
doesn't
B-Team
get
was
that
fun.
reference, we'll tell you when you're older. Very good. I think gambling fits for Fiends, to be honest. Why not? She seems quite optimistic. I could imagine her bouncing up to the roulette table and being like, brilliant, everything on Black 8 or however Blackjack, I don't know how anything gambling works, but yeah.
Do you feel like you redeemed Fiends?
I
Is
think
that-
I redeemed Fiends. I've always loved Fiends. I think she's lovely. She's enthusiastic. She doesn't always get it right. She's basically me. So that's why I'm very defensive of her. But yeah, I think she did good. I think she did real good. She didn't murder any innocents with her bombs.
No?
She managed to put Lorenzo to sleep by mistake.
No, that was Lorenzo's fault. He put
To
himself
be fair,
sleep.
that was a team.
He's into
He's into that.
that. Yeah.
No, Fiends did a good job. I think Fiends was incredibly. It was like a level. I imagine that it was like a sit-down conversation. No, it's really important that the bombs goes correctly in the correct place. But yeah, I think Fiends was really good. I
She
think
needs
all
to
the
be
B team were really
managed.
good.
She needs to be handled.
Mm.
But if you handle her correctly, she's a boon to the team, I think.
Yeah.
She's useful.
I also loved Tavarian's like rational. I'm just going to tell everyone why they shouldn't do this. I think that was great.
Well, I asked Dan before, like, did we actually find out why Algarve shot Tavarian? Like, did we actually find out the reason why he shot her? And I don't think it ever actually got mentioned in an episode.
No.
Mm-mm.
Is it worth mentioning
Well, she knew
now?
Yeah,
Harrow
so-
stuff.
So basically, I think we only just like recently learnt it in like either episode 16 or somewhere recent, but obviously Tavarian knew about the veil and failing, but she also knew who the heart was, which I think she's mentioned in episode 16 that she knew that it was
She told us about
yeah.
it.
And so Dan told me that she was planning to actually go to the people of Elysia and tell everyone about it. And Algarve found that as a way of, hindering his power over Elysia. And so went, well, there's only one way I can stop her from doing this, and that was to shoot her, basically. So
it wasn't through some misguided altruistic, like, I don't want there to be panic sown in my streets.
Yeah, it was
drive.
basically
It was
just
more
like,
of a, I don't want my power to be undermined in the city. Right.
pretty much. So
Yeah, okay.
I felt like in a way that Tavarian would actually be just like, no, I'm just going to tell everyone now.
It kind of made sense to do that. That was a very Tavarian move, wasn't it?
You know how, like, when we have a conversation and sometimes you remember something? Nobody ever found Algarve's, like, body, did they?
Oh no, he got burnt to absolute cinders.
And
Well,
eaten
he was
by rats,
underneath the
probably,
keep,
hopefully.
but, like, yeah, I mean, hopefully Algarve is haste. Like, but you know what Dan's like. Maybe he'll get put in a mech suit and him and
No!
No!
Am I going to meet Mecha Algarve?
Oh no.
Yeah, imagine. And then it becomes...
It was
Glad he's not listening.
It was
That
interesting
really
for
was
me
my boss fight.
because I'd written Algarve into my character's backstory as a personal villain, somebody who's responsible for my character's downfall, and then to watch him be assassinated like 30 feet away from me by an NPC was interesting. So maybe he will be back.
Oh no.
Mecha Algarve.
I just, like, when you don't see... I gotta see the body. I gotta confirm death.
Gots to see the body.
Gotta check for
Yeah.
pulse, check for breath,
But that's the
then
thing.
remove the head.
If he's still down there, if his body's still down there, could we grab his ghost?
He's crispy
Why?
bacon. Like,
But he's still got a
Somehow
ghost down there.
Algarve returns.
do we think so? Do we think he's definitely got a... After all this time, would he still have a ghost?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Didn't we find it in the mausoleum when we were looking for Tavarians?
Ooh, did we?
I don't think so.
No.
Because it was all
Real
the
sad.
Blackguard were guarding. And now we know it's because heart stuff, right? That the tower was being guarded. Anyway.
This was another thing I asked Dan, and I think I actually asked him in the episode whether or not Algarve was actually in the mausoleum. But I've forgotten her name now, the person who was guiding me around. Just sort of gave like a wink nudge to say he is here, but he's not actually here, we're just pretending he's here.
Yeah. I remember
Maybe
that.
Dan is planning something.
Oh no.
They're at Algarve. Oh no!
You know how, like, you think, okay, there's the ultimate big bad, rat lady mass,
Tyrion
rat
and
mass
that.
lady. I just kind of feel like there's other, I don't know.
We
It's
could
gotta be
create a
something else.
rival swarm of rats with Algarve's soul.
Yeah.
No,
This
there's
does
an
bring
idea,
up a
a
good-
rival swarm of rats.
This does bring up a really good point, which is that with the B team one shot culminating in completely overthrowing and ending the Ilnashi in their plot to garner spirits to power Nephine's arc. Which, what are we going to do about them rats though? In order for the main A team to get down there and disrupt this whatever's happening, the ritual that they're doing. What are we going to do about those rats? There's many
That
of
have a
them.
magic crown.
They have a magic crown that Algernon handily gave back to them. And yeah, they're going to be angry and hungry, and they're not going to let us anywhere near Neferturia. So we've got to deal with rats, we've got to deal with Blackguard, and probably a raven. What are we going to need for all that? How are we going to... And where are we hoping this will all end?
Yeah.
Gosh.
All alive. Meg is threatening that that one of us is gonna die.
Yeah, she knows Dan too well.
Wow.
The good news is, though,
One
if one of
or
us
all.
does die, we'll probably get to keep playing till the end of the episode as a go.
Is it good?
True.
That's true. Well, shall we have a little discussion off camera
Off
about what we're
camera.
going to do?
Let's do that. Yeah.
And
yeah.
maybe in the comments you could say what you think we're going to do. But if you're very excited about the finale, if you want to see it, if you want to watch all the other episodes, if you like this video, you can hit the like button, you can subscribe, you can hit the notification button and know when we actually upload the finale, because it is coming very, very soon, and we're coming up to the ultimate finale soon, like probably tomorrow. I think it probably airs tomorrow or the next day soon. But like until then, this has been the very last Algernon's Angels.
Oh,
I'm sure we'll have
shame.
another chat once all things have totally not gone to shit, hopefully.
We'll do a bit of post-campaign dissection. Yeah.
I also think, I guess, like, our team name is now the A team because of there exists the B team, but also Algernon's Angels, the AA team.
The AA team.
Oh. I can't believe we never came up with a crew name, a proper one.
Yeah.
We just have.
With the AA team.
AA. It's our sign.
Excellent.
Well, until then, thank you everyone. We're going to go and summon Dan, and hopefully he will guide us through this finale. But until then, bye.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.